Okay guys, welcome to another video on the Python series. So today we're going to be looking at loops. We are going to see different types of loop, while loop, the for loop, and we're going to see what it can do for you in your programming or in your code. Okay, so let's jump to it. But before we get to the loops, we're going to talk about updating variables. So imagine a situation we have, let's say number, or we say num equal to 10, and we want to change the value of none. So maybe we want to increase it by 10. Let's say print num. So by default, the value of num is going to give us 10. So let's say we want to increase num by 10. We can decide to say num is equal to 10 plus 10. This one will work it will work well. So we get 20. But that isn't the proper way of doing it by code standards. Now another way to do it is by writing num plus 10. So what happens here is that your code is going to check, okay, has num been declared before here? Yes. So it's going to see num as what? Because num here is equal to 10. It's going to see num here as what? 10. And then after doing the 10 plus 10, which is 20, it's going to change the value of num to 20 at this point. So when we rerun it here, we get num is equal to 20. Another thing that we can do is this. So we can say num is equal to 10. Another thing we can do is num plus equal to 10. So this guy here, this is same as line 6. So this is same as line 6. Let's say same as line 6, where it's going to just get num and add whatever value is here to num. So let us run this. If we should run it, because we already have num here as 20, so it should give us 30 now. So we run it now, we got 30 because here it increases it. So let's comment out this code now, this line 6, and run it. We should get 20 now. So this is another way we can update a variable. We could also do the opposite. Let's say we want to reduce something from it. So it's going to take maybe 5. We want to reduce 5. We're going to say num minus equal to 5. So it's going to know that, oh, we are trying to reduce the value of num by what? 5. So we're going to run this. So we're going to get 5. If I change this to 4 or 7, we should be able to get 3. Does that ring a bell? So this is just how to update variables. So let's go straight to the main topic for today, which is loops. So let me comment out this statement and then we'll enter loops. So the first type of loop that is very common is the while loop. Now the while loop is used to execute a set of instructions for a specified number of times until the condition becomes false. So the way is that it always checks a condition first, and then if the condition is true, it executes a particular code, and it's going to keep on executing that code until that condition is false. So the syntax for while loop is simply like this. We're going to say while, and then we're going to put the condition. And then under here, we're going to put whatever block of code. I always like saying this, block of code that we're going to run in it. So let's do an example right away. So let's just create a variable. So we've already had num. Let's say num is equal to 5. Sorry, num equal to 5. So this one doesn't, it changes the variable, but it assigns the value, the variable to 5. So whatever num was before it doesn't care at this point, it just changes to 5. So the while loop, we're going to say while, then the condition, we are going to say while we're going to say while num is greater than 0. I'm now going to say print first we're going to print num, then we're going to reduce the value of num by what? 1. One way we can do that is we're going to say num is equal to num minus 1. This way will work correctly, but to simplify everything, we can just say num equal to minus equal to 1. This will work. So we'll now print, sorry, not 10, 1. We're now going to print out learning Python from the teen programmer. Or this is my Twitter, Instagram handle right there. So I call myself the 18 programmer, but that's enough for me. So let's run this code to see what actually gives us. So we're going to save this and we're going to run it. So you can see it actually did something like it counts down for us. Let me take this up a bit. So what it gave us is 5 learning Python from the @teen programmer. This learning Python from this, 3 learning Python from this, 2 learning Python from this, and 1 learning Python from certain person. So what really happens here, sorry, let me check this. Okay, good, it's recording. I just had maybe forgotten to press the record button. So what happened there is that it keeps on checking this condition. So first time it's going to run, it's going to say is 5 greater than 0 true. So it's going to print out 5, reduce 1 from 5, and then which makes num become 4, and then we're going to now print out the statement. Next thing it's going to do is going to now 5 is 4. I mean num is 4 at this point because it has reduced 1 from here. I'm going to check back. Is 4 greater than 0? Yes. So it's going to do what? Print out num, which is 4, reduce 1 from num, which makes num become 3 now. And it's going to do that until maybe it's going to get to 0, and it's going to check is 0 greater than 0, which makes the condition false. Now when the condition becomes false, it stops running the code. So that's what made it stop at this particular point, because the condition became what? False when num became 0. So that's it for it. Let's see another example. Let's say okay, maybe we'll come back to that later. Let's just go now. When you're dealing with for loops, something can happen. In a situation when your code loops endlessly, especially in while loop, it happens a lot. This is called infinite loops. Pardon me, I need to comment this out first. I'll comment this out. Sorry, let me copy it down here first, then comment it out. So infinite loops is just a loop named as endless loop or unproductive loop. It keeps on running over and over and over again. Now, infinite loops can happen for several reasons. One of them being that it has a condition that can never be satisfied. Do you understand? So let's say in a situation we say if num is okay, no, let's say we don't increase or reduce the value of num, meaning that this condition will always be true. So thinking about this condition always being true, what does that tell you? That will tell you that these two things are going to be running forever. Now let's see that. So if I should run this code, take note, infinite loops are bad as they can crash your system over if they are running for a long time. So as you can see, my system keeps on printing it out. I'm going to stop this by printing Ctrl C. Yes, thank God that did that. I noticed my system already started increasing speed. So it consumes RAM over time and it keeps on printing. So it's going to print thousands of lines of things for you that you can even, more than what you can even see. So when we are using while loop, you always want to make sure that your condition always becomes false at a particular time. If not, it's going to keep on printing it out, and many other things. So you want your condition to always at a particular point become false, else it's going to keep on running. Also, there are some things you can use to exit an infinite loop. We have something called the break statement. We call it the break statement. So let's say we have this particular code. It doesn't have any condition to stop. We can add a condition that says maybe if num Let me think of a best way to make use of it. Okay, let's say if okay, now I'm not working this example. Let me pick up an example. So let's say in a situation, let's say we're creating like an app to chat. You are chatting now, and I want a particular message to, I want the loop to stop at a particular point when I type in a message called done. So let's write that straight away. So it's going to do like this. We can be sending message forever, messages forever, and it will print out the results. So, but when we type out, when the user types done, it stops. It stops. So we are going to first create a variable. So, but first let's do the while loop. We're now going to say while true. Now, true is a condition that will keep on running forever. True doesn't have anything that will terminate it in this life. So let's say message is equal to input. So remember, your input always gives you back a string. So inside here, I'm going to put in this, meaning that it's going to first print this out, and we're going to write our message beside it. So we're going to say if message is equal to done, we're going to print out, we're going to do break. Now remember I mentioned the break statement, and then we are going to print line. Now, sorry, not print line, print message. Now, most of you will be like, why did I not just use an else? Well, in this particular point, I want it to still print, even if it is, this will still run because it's in a symmetrical, it's like line by line. So it will first check this condition. If this condition is not true, it's going to print this out. If the condition is true, it's still going to print this out. So I want, in a situation after writing done, it's now going to print have successfully left the loop. So let's see what this is going to actually give us. So if I should run this, it's going to give me this and tell me, okay, I should put in an input. I'll be like, hello. It's going to print out hello. How are you? How are you? I type in gibberish, it's going to give me all this. But notice this, the moment I type in done and I press enter, what did you see? Have successfully left the loop. Are you with me? So this break statement automatically breaks out of this whole loop and then gives you this guy, and your code stops running. As you can see, the code automatically stops running. So I run it again. I type in anything I want to type in. It's going to give me back my results. But the moment I type in done, it's going to automatically break out of this loop. Take note, this message is not going to send because Python is still revolving around this loop. It's going to keep on going around in this loop until it has finally left the loop. Then this message is going to send, because this is, if you check the indentation, they are in the same indentation level. So this is only going to run when this guy finishes, when the while loop finishes. So as soon as I type in done, it automatically finish the last statement and the code automatically stops. You got that? Sorry, I'm having catarrh and cough. I don't know, it started in Nigeria suddenly, probably Hamatan. So next we have continue statements. This is another thing that can actually help you make your code faster. So what continue does is that if your code says continue, it's going to skip the remaining part of the code and then go back to the top. Now, how can we use this? So let's say if in a situation in the message, we say if message 0 is equal to this. You know our normal comments, we're going to say continue. I know some of you will be like, what does this message 0 have? We only have message here. So what this message 0 does is that it checks the first letter. It's saying if the first letter is a hash sign. Remember, if when we deal about lists and the rest, we're going to talk more about this. But it's trying to say that if the first letter is a hash sign, if that's what you call it, we call it hash sign over here. But if it's a hash sign, sorry about that, it's going to do what? Continue. Continue means it's going to skip out this remaining part and go back to the top. All right. So let us run this code now. So if I say hello, it gives me back hello. I write any other thing. But if I should write a hash sign in my code and then write any other thing and I press enter, what do you notice? It doesn't print it back for me. Why? The print statement is under here. And I told you whenever anything is the code says continue, it starts back at the beginning. So it didn't even check this guy. It didn't even check the done. How do we know it doesn't check done? If I should write done, it doesn't break out of the loop. So as long as sorry about that, as long as the hash sign is there, it's going to skip out the remaining part of the code and go back to the top again. So it's just going to take control and move it back to the top. So let me break out of this loop by typing in done. So I've successfully left the loop at this point. So you understand, break automatically takes you out of the loop. It breaks out of the loop, while continue goes back to the top of the loop and skips all the remaining code below it, goes back to the top of the loop. Yeah, so those are the two for it now. Next one we have to go to is the for loop. So we are going to go into the for loop right now. Hope the video isn't getting too long. So the for loop is used in looping over a list of items, not only a list of items, but anything that is in a particular sequence. Now in Python, we have data structures that are used for holding a collection of items. What I mean by collection of items, so probably we have our friends and want to list their names. Yes, we have types in Python that actually allows us, data types in Python that allows us to list them too. And one of the popular ones in Python is called a list. In other programming languages, they're called arrays. So what is a list? A list is like this. It starts with square brackets and then it has items inside. So I would say Austin, say mommy, and I'll be like daddy. So list allows me to store not just one item in a variable or multiple items. You know, normally in our variables in the past we can only store one thing and then check it over another thing. But now with this, I can be able to store more than one item in a list. But for me to be able to check items inside that list, I would have to do something like this: print friend 0. And you'll be like, Augustine, I don't understand what you're doing. So print friend 0 give me actually what? Austin. Now this is because of what we call indexes. So in arrays, the first item on the list starts from 0. Yes, it does start from 0. So the first item starts from 0, second item starts from 1. Sorry, second item is 1, third item is 2. So if I say friend 2, it gives me daddy, and if I say friend 1, it gives me what? Mommy. I save this and run it, it gives me mommy. So I have to do it individually. But let's say I want to send this my friend, sorry, not friend variable, friends, just for the example I'm about to give. So I want to send this my friends some messages. How do I do that? I use for loop. We could also use while loop, but it's going to be a little bit longer. So for loop is actually an easier way to do that. So we say for friend in friends, sorry. How do I don't know how to spell friend again? We're going to say print. Hope you had a great day. And then we're going to say hope you had a great day. I'm just going to concatenate this. Hope you've watched my video on introduction to Python. On data types, if you want to understand what I just did here. So what this does, that it actually adds a string to this thing. It joins them together as one string. So I will run this now and let's see. Ooh, there's a problem. Okay, sorry, no. I actually put friends here. Sorry. I put friends. So friends is the array. Friend is this guy here. I'll explain what he does. So as you can see, as I ran that, it gave me hope you had a good day. No, hope you had a good day. So as you can see, hope you had a good day, Austin. Hope you had a good day, mommy. Hope you had a good day, daddy. So what does that do? It actually, this for friend, in friend, this friend here is a variable. So what it does is that it goes through each item in this list, one after the other, and whatever I do in this block of code here is what it's going to do with it. So this friend is going to first be Austin. After it finishes printing whatever it has to do with Austin, it's going to go to mommy, and then after I finish doing whatever it has to do with mommy, it's going to go to daddy. Right? So in case you are having difficulty understanding this, another thing we can just do is to use a placeholder. I was going to talk about this in another video, but let me just make it over here. So what happens here is that I'm just going to put an F. This is called an F string. I'm going to put an F and then a string here, and inside this curly braces, I'm just going to pass in the variable. So this is another way to make use of your variables. It's going to give you virtually the same thing. Just make sure you have an F at the beginning of the string, and then if you want to write a variable, just normal with the string will be, you just make use of your curly braces. So this is how for loop actually works. So for me to be able to use break statements in for loop, so we're going to say something like, if friend, let's say we don't want it to send to anybody after mommy, we want to stop sending after we send it to Austin. So we are going to say if friend equal to mommy. Sorry about that. We're going to say break. So I run this code. What did you notice here? It said hope you had a good day, Austin. So why it only said hope you had a good day, Austin, was because it's going to first check, when the loop starts, it's going to check Austin. Is Austin equal to mommy? Nope. It's going to print out happy had a good day, Austin, mommy. If is friend equal to mommy, yes, it breaks out of the loop. So break completely takes us out of the loop. So what if I say continue? Now what continue going to do is, remember, continue keeps the remaining part of the code. So we are going to get this. Hope you had a good day, Austin. Hope you had a good day, daddy. Because when it saw mommy, it did what? It skipped the remaining part of the code. Are you with me? Hope you guys are understanding this. Yeah, so loops are used for many things. It's not just for arrays and the rest. You could also use loops to actually go through what is inside the file. And not only that, you can actually use it for other real life projects. So for example, let's say we want to check maximum numbers in a list. So I create a list, I name it numbers, I say 100, 32, this, sorry, not maximum number, total numbers in a list, say 0, 7, and I want to find out the total in this. So while in this situation, what I will do is that there's an easy function for this, but what I will do in this situation is that I'm first going to create a variable total, and I'm going to give it 0, and inside here I'm going to say for number in total type. sorry, for number in numbers. In fact, just for you to understand this, here I'm not going to make use of number, I'm going to make use of x. So you just understand that this is a variable, it can be anything. Because when I started, that actually confused me a bit. So I'm going to say total is equal to total plus x, which is going to be the number. So the first time I'm going to run this code, you're going to get 0 plus 100, which now makes total what? 100. And next time I'm going to run, it's going to do, since total is now 100, it's going to do 100 plus 32 and so on. So this is what we wanted to do, and at the end of the code it should do what? Print out total. So if I should run this code, it give me 240. Let's use our calculator to confirm. So I'm going to get my calculator right here. Sorry, it's too big. 100 plus 32 plus 45 plus 56 plus 0 plus 7. 240. Wow, I was spot on that. Yes, so as you can see, we're able to get the total amount of numbers in a list by simply making use of the for loop. So there are many other ways we can apply it. I think I'm going to do more videos on this, so how we can make use of loops. Even loops are being used in many things in your life, social media and other things. So that's all for this video, guys. Please like